All right, let's talk LSU Clemson. Been a minute since we've done that now, and I want to get back into it. And I have not spent a lot of time on this aspect of this game. We have talked a lot about the quarterbacks. They're both very good. We have talked a lot about the receivers. They are very good. We have talked about the loss of A.J. Halsey, which is significant to LSU, but I don't think crippling. We've talked about Clemson's studs on the defensive front and their linebackers that have been very productive. I think LSU's defense is primed for a monster year, returning to the elite in college football. But one aspect of this game that we have not discussed on this show enough, in my opinion, which is why I kind of want to end the week with it, is LSU has to run the ball. You have to. And not only do you have to be productive in the ground game, you've got to commit to it. And the feeling is that LSU did not commit to the ground game enough. Now, whether you want to determine that LSU's rushing statistics stunk because they didn't commit to it, or they didn't commit to it because they stunk at it, that is open for interpretation. But I can tell you that there are people that believe that LSU did not commit to the running game enough in that building last year. And you look at the statistics, and this is borne out. LSU ran the ball 373 times last year. That is dead last in the Southeastern Conference. Second to last is Auburn, who ran it 404 times. If you don't want to do math behind your steering wheel, I'll help you. Auburn was second to last in the SEC in rush attempts. They still ran the ball 31 more times. 31 more times than LSU, and played one fewer game. 31 fewer attempts over the season and played one fewer game. If you want to look at attempts per game, LSU, of course, is dead last there at 28 per game. Georgia was second to last at 30 per game. Auburn, third to last at 33 per game. So Auburn's running it 5 more times. And if you want to go to the middle of the pack, which was Arkansas, Arkansas was running the ball 9 more times per game than you. If you want to go towards the top of the league, Tennessee is running the ball 16 more times per game than you. Now, I realize they had the best rushing attack in the SEC, and LSU did struggle at times to run it. But you cannot compete for a championship with this roster if you don't commit in some way to the run. And I can hear you. What do you mean? Georgia got to the semifinal last year, and they were second to last in the league. I got it. But your program's not quite where Georgia's is. From a personnel perspective and from a skins-on-the-wall defensive coaching perspective, you don't have what Georgia has. You need to be a little bit more traditional in the way that you handle it. So what you have to be entering this game with Clemson is committed to running the ball, even if you get tackled for loss a few times. That cannot deter you. You can't bang your head into a wall for 4 quarters, but you also can't tuck your legs and quit after 2 drives. You have to try to run the ball. Now, I have asked folks on the Clemson beat how a defensive front that has 2 guys projected to go in the first round of the draft, Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, can get eviscerated on the ground consistently last year. And the thought from the Clemson media is, well, terrible defensive coordinator. Tom Allen's come in, he'll fix the whole thing. That may be true, but it may not be true. It may not be true. They may be great pass rushers who are not great run stoppers. What do you need to do against great pass rushers that are not great run stoppers? Run the ball. There is a thought that Clemson's defensive front last year was too anxious to get up the field, too anxious to leave a gap assignment to try to win into the backfield. And sometimes when you do that, you vacate a hole. And if there are offensive linemen and running backs savvy enough to use that over-aggressiveness, that flaw in technique to create lanes, there you go. Louisville did it. The Citadel did it. Texas did it. South Carolina did it to an extent. Lenore Sellers did a lot of that, and LSU doesn't have that gear. But they can hand the ball off like those teams did. I will tell you this. I know two things. I know them. I'm not guessing. I know these two things. LSU spent a ton of time in the spring and in the fall in overhauling the scheme of their running game. They are doing things in a different way than they've done the last few years. With Jaden, it was a whole different kettle of fish. It's just not comparable. But last year to this year is. And they have changed the way they are operating from a running perspective. There's more misdirection. There is some under center. There are gadgets with Juwan Johnson. There are gadgets with Xavier Thomas. Garrett Nussmeier is going to tuck the football a little bit more often than he did last year. He's not going to become a 600-yard rusher, but he can pick up 3rd and 4. And I know this to be true. And I also know that there's a feeling in that football operations center that they've got to do a better job of committing to the run. You can't finish this year 16th in the SEC in rushing attempts. You can't finish this year in the SEC 15th or 14th in rushing touchdowns. And here's the deal with this game. You've got a new offensive line. We know this. It's going to be really loud in there. We know this. What's easier to do for a young offensive line, an inexperienced offensive line, in a very, very loud stadium? Is it easier to fire off the football and hit somebody against a defensive line that was almost worse than the ACC in run defense? Or is it easier to sit on your heels, stare at the football, wait for the snap, then turn your head back up and try to pass block T.J. Parker and Peter Woods? It's an easy answer. They've got to find a way to knock Clemson out of the way sometimes. I am not asking for them to run for 292 yards like Texas did. That's unrealistic. I'm asking for a commitment to the run, for Caden Durham to get 18 to 22 carries in this game, for Caden Durham to get a couple, for Harlem Berry to get a couple. I'm told he will play tomorrow. Expect Harlem Berry to touch the football. And they've got to commit to it and just get that 3 or 4 yards when you can. LSU didn't average nothing on the ground. They got 4.1 yards per carry. They were only 11th in the league in that metric. They weren't dead last. And there may be something to what we saw in camp where, yeah, loss of 1. Yep. 2-yard gain. Yep. Loss of 4. 60-yard run. And LSU busted some of those last year. Durham got loose twice against South Carolina, partly because he made guys miss on tackles. But yeah, first play of the game against Alabama, Durham, right off the right side, busted it down the sideline. Those plays were there sometimes for LSU last year. You've got to commit to them even when there's stuff in the run. You've got to keep Clemson's pass rushers on their heels. And I am not convinced, to reinforce, I am not convinced that Clemson's defensive coordinator was such a buffoon last year that he so grossly mismanaged this defensive line that they're now completely cured of the issues that they had last year stopping the run. I don't think Tom Allen waved a wand in the spring and fall camp and now they're just elite run stoppers. Their scheme may be better. They may get better at it, but there are some warts there that I'm confident are still there. You have to try to run the ball. Use Caden Durham, use Caleb Jackson, use Harlem Berry, use Juwan Johnson, use Xavier Thomas. Run the ball 30 times in this game. I know it's easy to lean back on a fifth-year quarterback who threw for 4,000 yards. It's easy to call plays for Aaron Anderson and Barryon Brown and Chris Hilton. But if you get too sucked into doing that and you let Clemson pin their ears back, I watched that movie in College Station last year, and it sucks. I don't want to watch it again. Because you let Nick Scorton and that ferocious pass rush know what was coming. And even with a great pass blocking offensive line in that environment with that noise against those pass rushers, the bottom fell out. You cannot get to that point. I'm not asking you to go 3 and out every time, banging your head against the wall, trying to run it on first and second down every time. But there's got to be a commitment to the run. And I'm confident that LSU is going to Clemson, South Carolina with that in mind. Whether or not they can execute it, I can't tell you that. But that is going to be very much front and center of what they're trying to do. We'll see if they can make it happen. It's an offensive line that didn't do a great job of blocking for the run when we were out there against the LSU defense. I'm suggesting that LSU defense with Jack Pyburn and Jacobian Guillory and Bernard Gooden and then Jamari Butler and Gabe Relaford is just tough to block. And Clemson's is going to be too. But I know Clemson's guys couldn't stop the run last year, and it's the same guys that were out there last year. This is a new LSU group that I think is just really good. So we'll see. That's my last kind of breakdown on this game between LSU and Clemson coming up on Saturday night. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.